This game was Tom Brady's first win at home without a passing touchdown since week 1 of the 2008 season against the Chiefs. That was the game that he hurt the ACL at the very beginning, so he barely even played in that game. He's now thrown for 0 touchdowns in 2 of his last 3 games. So as we take this to the table, Mark Sanchez, as a quarterback, that 5-second pause that he gave there when asked that question, how do you evaluate the offense? What do you think he was thinking about?
Good enough for what, number one? Is it good enough for what? To keep winning? And they showed they can win. They score a special teams touchdown. They score a defensive touchdown. Listen, was the offense at its very best? No. Their line's been a little suspect. Their center's out, right?
Yep.
Josh Gordon goes down. So he's not working with all of his – they're not firing on all cylinders, but this is why they're so polarizing. This is why you hate them or love them, because they know how to win. They know how to win ugly. And if he's got to rush for 2 touchdowns, I'll tell you what, he doesn't care. He's going to win the game. That's who he is.
He still threw for well over 300 yards, as we pointed out. But as you watch them play right now, as a linebacker, and I love looking at your face because you're so ready for me here.
I'm ready.
Do you fear their offense now the way you probably did when you played against them at their best?
Not at all. I feared their offense, to your point, when they had Aaron Hernandez, they had Rob Gronkowski, they had on the outside Randy Moss. I feared them because those tight ends were so special and dynamic. It was hard. It was always a mismatch, whether it was us as linebackers guarding them or safeties. They created those mismatches. And right now, the Patriots don't have that tight end to go to. They don't have a Rob Gronkowski. They had even Ben Watson back in 2004 when he got drafted.
Yeah.
Right now, it's Edelman.
He's available.
And that's it. Right? That's another subject.
But Watson could potentially be someone who comes back. We're going to talk about Gronk in a second. But, Bob, I'm trying to figure out how to read this. Again, they're 6-0, and they've played the teams that were on their schedule. But they've played terrible teams, with the exception of Buffalo, and Buffalo doesn't have a whole lot of offense. So as the schedule gets tougher, and it's going to soon, do you think they will struggle?
I think they're going to be fine. They're not going to be pretty, but if you go back and look at their first 3 Super Bowls, they didn't have an offense that was ranked in the top 5. They didn't have a defense that was ranked in the top 5. They played great complementary football, and you saw that again last night. Defensive scores, they're number 1 in the league in field position. They give Tom short fields. And if you look at the first half to the second half, in the first half, a lot of 2 back, a lot of 2 tight end, have some injuries, some things happen. They change it up. They go more 3 wide receivers, and then they start getting the screen game involved. If they can't protect, they're going to get the ball to Tom Brady's hands quickly because they know they can't let him sit back there and get hit. He's not a Pat Mahomes or a Russell Wilson or even Aaron Rodgers. He's not a guy that's going to run, so they get the ball out of his hands and help him out, and that's the beauty of Josh McDaniels and what he does with his play calling.
And when I think about the AFC, who is really their competition right now? Who are we worried about? If we're talking Kansas City, their defense stinks. If we're talking, I don't know, who else is out there on the AFC that's really going to challenge the Patriots right now? If there's no one to challenge them, look at the schedule right now. The Ravens can give them a challenge, but we're saying, all right, they're not good enough to win. Against who? Of course they are. Yeah. Even with that offense right now, they're good enough to win against any of these opponents.
Where you see some of the tougher games on that. We don't know what the Browns are going to be. At Ravens feels tough. At Eagles, Cowboys are good. Houston is good. Kansas City is good. So their schedule is going to get more challenging than it's been to this point. And if they're just trying to cobble together whatever they can by throwing screens, by getting rid of the ball, by trying to win it with defense, Mark, can they do that? Can they win the AFC Championship again? They've won it 3 straight years doing this stuff.
If Kansas City's not healthy, yes. When Kansas City gets healthy, that's going to be a real game because they're going to need some offense.
I don't know, Mark. Well, even with the Kansas City's defense is not clicking. We talk about Pat's offense not clicking, Patriots defense, Chiefs defense. At best right now, average,
and
very average.
They just flipped your expectation, right? At the beginning of the year, they had Antonio Brown, they had Josh Gordon, they had all these guys. It looked like it could have been Brady's best year yet.
Yeah.
And now all these guys go down. Antonio Brown's gone. Now it's like kind of a letdown for offensive people. Sorry, Vilma. Sorry, Bobby.
Yeah.
But, that's just the way it is now. But they know how to win.
Let's see if there's one other weapon they could theoretically add. Rob Gronkowski. He made his debut as an analyst last night for Fox, but that has not stopped Patriots owner Robert Kraft from dreaming about Gronk possibly returning to the field. He hasn't put his retirement papers in. Now, if you saw him and if you see some of the work that he's been doing, he looks smaller to me. I'm not an expert in this sort of thing. He looks like he's dropped a lot of weight.
But as guys get older, like if you look at Michael Strahan at the beginning of his career, he's a big, bulky guy. By the end, he probably slimmed down 15, 20 pounds. If Gronk comes back and plays, he's not going to be as devastating as a blocker. He'll be good, but he'll still be a big physical target in the passing game. He's not any shorter. He maybe has lost a little bit of strength, but he still has the hands. He still has the confidence of Tom Brady, and he's still a Hall of Fame player.
He's plug in and play, man. Get him on the field as fast as you can. Somebody needs to take pressure off of Edelman, is bottom line. Help Edelman out.
What do you think, John? If all of a sudden Rob Gronkowski comes out of the booth and out of all of the other things he's doing and he's in that huddle opposing you, are you worried about Gronk?
I'm worried maybe the first game or two, maybe. And here's a big maybe because I don't know what he's been doing in the offseason. I don't know if he's still been training.
What has he ever been doing?
You got to think about it.
I don't know what he's
something
been doing.
to think about.
Yes.
To worry about a little bit.
We know one thing he's been doing, if you've been following his new career path, and that could create a whole other set of problems, but let's not worry about that for the moment.
Exactly.
It'll be fascinating to see. But really quickly, raise your hand if you think he will play for the Patriots this season.
I hope so.
Really? I'm by myself?
I really wanted to
I don't
happen.
think so.
I don't think
I
he's
will
playing.
be surprised if it does happen.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.